Hello, 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 shackle breakers. Welcome back to another episode of an awesome interview with a fellow business owner, and we'll explore his extraordinary life. And in that, we could find out something that we can use for our own business. And so I'm going to start. How did an ordinary swimming instructor re-engineer his whole life to be of service to the commitment of changing the face of kids' education in Asia and make it relevant to today's day and age? It took a decade in the making, and now serious investors are wooing him to acquire his endeavor. Dr. Nicholas Wong went back to college at the age of 36 when his peers were all settled in with careers and families and came out to form AI Talent. It's an education company that hone kids with entrepreneurship mindsets and skill sets and readies them for the future. You can check out the Facebook page of the company. I'll put a link down there. So, welcome, Dr. Nicholas. Give us a little bit about your past life background when you were a swimming instructor and what was that life about?
Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Yeah. Thank you, Raja, for the introduction. Well, I have a pretty colorful life. I'm firstly, I'm coming 50. I think so. Going back to my childhood, it's in a very small town in Port Dickson. Malaysia is a very small town. We live. I'm very humble, very poor family. Like a room of 10 by no 15 by 15. And there were five siblings and my parents. My dad was just a mechanic. My mom was a housewife. So, things were really poor for us. And I think all of us were, my eldest sister is in, in, in sports. My eldest sister is a Pilates instructor now. My eldest brother is also teaches swimming. My second elder sister also teaches swimming, and therefore I also teach swimming. And my younger brother is a footballer for the states, and but now he's retired, so he actually do some football coaching. So we were all into sports. Uh, as for me, and not that I couldn't study, but family was quite poor, so I felt that better to start earning rather than going to spend more of the family's money to go and study, which really don't have also like if I wanted to. So and therefore decided that coming out and work and help out and at least be independent and take care of myself. I think that would be the
Wow.
answer. But of course, once you start going into the job market, 1 month's living versus the other, you just pay rent and pay all your bills and car installment and all that. You get so busy with your
Life.
monthly or your daily work and your monthly expenses that you have to cover. There's just no time to go back to school or any other thing. You just need to survive and try to earn a living every day. So that was how it was for the earlier 30 years or so, where you just have to make a living, right? Of course, everybody craves to be a entrepreneur or have to make it successful, but the day to day really makes it, day to day do what you can type of a life. You don't have a choice. You just kind of got used to it. Just go out and earn a living.
Wow. I just got what fuels your commitment for kids to have uh, the passion for entrepreneurship. It came from that root. I didn't realize that. Wow, where was it coming from? Now I see why. Yeah, and that's a beautiful what do you call? That's a beautiful context. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I'm trying to point out that given your family background, your social economy, uh, and then as you start to go out and earn a living for your own, sometimes or most of the time we don't have a choice because we just get too busy trying to cover every month's expenses.
Yeah, and
And
I think most of the people, like the business owners who are listening, the entrepreneurs who are listening to this, they get that. They see the what you are going to provide for them today is an access to, like, if the mode of life every day is about survival, and there's still a passion, there's still that flicker uh, of passion in there, and the aspiration to be something more. I think today is access for that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which will come to, where the turning point happens, I guess.
Which leads to the next question. What was the turning point and what gave you the courage to make that jump? And it's a jump off the cliff, so to speak, because you gotta build the plane while flying it, while plummeting down the cliff without any certainty whatsoever that
True,
life has to offer. And you're gonna
true.
bring a new future in. And you don't even know if it's gonna come. There's no certainty to it.
Definitely not, definitely not. But however, I think one thing I'll use me, I'll share what I do, and therefore I only preach stuff that I could do or I could achieve, so that I wouldn't ask you to do it if I couldn't do it, and that's how I teach my kids also. So I will just share my story. I won't be giving you advice to ask you to do stuff that I cannot do. Okay, so I'll just share my story. I think I enjoy, or no, not I enjoy. I think as I be a swimming instructor and do the work that I have to do, I do have sufficient time at night before sleep, and so that to think. But I think I'm lucky enough to think not of the problems that I have and so on. So I think more about what I think and how I think. So I'm mindful. We call it mindfulness. I'm very mindful about the way I think stuff. So I constantly think how I'm thinking. So I'm like constantly reviewing myself. What are the stuff that I'm thinking and how I'm thinking? I constantly look at that, and I think I come to an epiphany that the way I manage time, or my relationship with time was not effective enough for me to break through this. Always busy with work, always busy with stuff, and my mind is always focusing on the past, where my parents' social economy is poor. I don't have a degree. I couldn't have the time for this. I couldn't have the time to learn. In fact, studying was really, don't say study, reading any book was really a pain. I read 2 pages and my eyes get so heavy. Just 2 pages, my eyes get so heavy. So, finding the time to do all those, or even making the time or putting the concentration, it's all about time actually. People really underestimate time is money, but it's really way more important than that. So the relationship with time is so important. So, but like I said, I was lucky enough to spend a lot of time thinking about how my thoughts and relationship with my mind in terms of how I manage time was really important. And then that's where I realized that by 35, I realized that wow, okay, my time management isn't so well. Yeah, I'm busy all the time, I'm busy, and therefore I need to spend better time for my life, or myself, or my days. And I started to prioritize, and I realized one of the priority that I had to do was to start to learn stuff. I was so busy, I don't enjoy reading for sure. So, but I have to go and learn something. I can learn all the swimming stuff. I can learn quite a lot of other stuff, but people still always seem to be busy all the time, and I was. And therefore I had to allocate myself to go and do the important stuff, like to go back and get education or plan my future. Because I was 35, my body can't take it being in the swimming pool all the time also. So I think that is also a wake-up call that, okay, it's okay to be in the pool. I get to swim all the time also. It's healthy. But there in 20 years time, so I start to think forward also, like, wait, when I'm 55 I can't really do this, or if I'm 65. So, and I don't think being a swimming instructor, I'll master a well of like a few $1 million that I can retire. So I can't do this. So my income is tied to the time that I am locked in the pool. And therefore, that comes back to, that's why a lot of people keep preaching, oh, passive income, passive income. Yeah, I realized that, okay, I need to figure out something longer term, which is where I decided to spend my time in my head really planning for the next 10, 15 years. And the solution cannot be in the swimming pool anymore.
Yeah. So to give a bit of context for other people, like if you're a store owner, or if you are a small business, or if you are an entrepreneur and you are about to approach like midlife, and so if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, now I know that maybe I'm well settled or established as a business owner, the next step for you may be about like, okay, how do I shackle break free from being the cog in the wheel of the business? Um, like how what systems I can create into the business so that it runs uh, more or less by itself, and you can start looking at like maybe the flicker of that flame that's still in you. Yeah, what's that? I think how Dr. Nicholas processed it is like once he can get hold of where he's thinking from, then he can go back to his personal real commitment, and that's where it shifted the direction, the trajectory of his future. Yeah.
Yeah, slight editing there. I think it wasn't started. I mean, yes, I went back to school at 36. I like I said, I allocated my time. Okay, I got to go back to school and at least solve this. I never have a degree kind of a mindset, which is dragging myself down. So then I went back to school. Luckily, also at that time, someone recommended for me to do a master's in business. Being 35 years old and above, I am mature enough to jump there. So I thought, okay, I don't want to go back to college where everybody is young kids, right? So and that time doesn't really have a lot of online learning, and therefore I actually went back and did my master's because of a mature student and a recommendation. So for being mature and if you have saved up some money, they'll accept you. And then after doing that, I realized, hey, of course, the first 6 months was hell because reading a textbook really 2 page, you just my eyes get so heavy. It was really hard to start reading again, which I never enjoyed reading seriously. But then it was really hard. And then after about 6 months, I just kind of got used to the routine. And that was a pretty quick MBA. It was like 1.5 years or so. But during the MBA, I also learned about entrepreneurship and learning about strategic planning and all this system stuff. And therefore, I start to feel that okay, I now that I already kind of got used to the routine, I should plan earlier, and therefore with the MBA I do plan it longer. And I went back to, okay, what's my passionate. At 7 years old I always wanted to be a psychologist. So okay, psychologist, that's the passion. All right, let's start there. uh, and then after that, I did a lot more thinking and planning in terms of what would it look like in 10 years or 15 years for the field of psychology, which nowadays, even as a career advisor, I do tell younger people to actually don't start with passion. I know I'm lucky enough to start with passion, but I would like to advocate that you should start with what you think the trend would be in the next 10 years, because you don't want to be in the passionate field where it's going to be sunset already. Seriously, oh, I love giving free hugs. Yeah, but giving free hugs is going to die because of COVID and all this stuff. Yeah, what I'm saying. So you don't want to be in a sunset industry, even though you're passionate. So you want to at least be in a field that is a sunrise, especially. And a second question I asked myself was, okay, if I were to catch up in this field right now, will I be somewhat of a expert, or at least have some proficiency to be unique in about 5 or 10 years time, because first I pick a sunrise, and then after that, can I be proficient enough to at least earn a good living, or at least earn some living in 5 to 10 years time. So because I have to build from scratch, so therefore these two guiding principle kind of help me. Okay, let's pick an industry. Okay, psychology seems to be a field that could never really lift off. um, but everywhere it just keeps saying that they need it, and so, and that time my wife was a HR director, so I read a lot of HR journal. So therefore, like, I read stuff from Gallup and all that. So EAP and a lot of all those mindset change and all those are coming up, and all the career development, and a lot of complaints about. So I was reading a lot of stuff already that time, and because of my MBA, I have to force to read. So and because MBA, you're supposed to do a lot of case study also, HR case study. So I kind of got used to that trend. And then from there, I realized that, okay, I need to pick a sunrise. And I know this one always have a room for rise, psychology, and development of children and all that stuff. Uh, but what am I going to be good at in the next 5 to 10 years? That's the other question. So therefore, I had to solve that also. So I think combining these 2 or 3 variables kind of helped me set the setting of what I'm uniquely good at the after about 10 years, and at the same time, what can I in this sunrise industry that actually could help a lot of people also. So that was the thinking part that I had to go through in those early days.
All right. Um, Listening to you, right?
Yeah.
And if I look at a future and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to create a new future, and it's that level of climb, you can say the level of climb, like I'm climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And looking at that, I would have already crumbled at starting point. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kept you going?
Well,
Yeah.
I think again the routine of going back to school already kind of got me into the, I kind of, I always don't have time, but now I could manage some time to go back to school already. So that kind of got me into, hey, it was just a mindset change that my time management was so bad before. But after I changed it and prioritized it, my time management was better. But if you ask me in the longer how I got through these 10 years, seriously, the answer was being a father. Uh, as I said, I like to lead by example, and I only preach stuff that I could achieve. So I think at 37, I started being a father. So I have 2 boys, and I wanted to. No, I not wanted. I always, the way I teach my children has always been just be like daddy. So I just ask them to follow my mannerism, the way I manage my emotions or temper or upsetness, the way I speak to mommy, the way I speak to them. It's always polite with manner, is never upset and yelling. So and the way they especially when they're young, they get upset. So I will always look at daddy, just be like daddy, be calm like daddy, calm down. So I always set an example, and even mommy will say, okay, just be like your daddy, okay, just be like your daddy. Or so at least they have a role model. So I as I read a lot, I realize that especially boys, children role model us a lot, and therefore the easiest way to teach children was always to be a role model. And therefore I really stayed at home. I was a pretty much stay at home father also, to be the role model for my children. So my children pick up books and read, because when I around they are 3 or so, I will pick up books to read. Okay, that is reading, read together. Okay, that is exercising, exercise together. That is swimming, swim together. So we do a lot of stuff together, just because daddy is doing, they'll follow me. Okay, then when painting, okay, when they're okay painting, okay, daddy will paint together. We do a lot of stuff together. So I think the answer is being a role model to my 2 boys all the time. Seriously, almost every, in fact, very likely every day, because I spend easily 3 to 5 hours a day with them. So being a role model actively, and it's not just, oh, okay, I go and earn my money, and so I actively show them that I read a lot, I discuss and chat with them a lot. So I spend enough time being a role model to them, and that kind of made me that daddy just can't quit halfway, even though it's a long term goal. I can't quit. That the commitment to be a good father and the commitment to achieve what I want to achieve. I cannot show my kids that I'm gonna quit.
This is beautiful. Like uh, many of the fathers, right? Maybe even me, like would shy away from an outspoken declared commitment that I will be a role model to a son or a daughter. That's
Uh, yeah,
that's
and being
that's
a
really
family therapist also, that kind of helped me see enough nightmare about fathers giving excuses, not able to manage the spouse, and shy away and hide away from just earning money and earning money. I think your son needs a lot of, especially your son, really needs a lot of role modeling on how you manage that woman in your house, and how you manage time about money and so and so. Because if you are always going to be avoiding managing the woman and managing your time and managing your money making, your son is going to have the same problem. It's going to have the same problem. Because you need to be a role model. So I had to be that role model to show that I can solve this. Daddy can manage the time. Daddy can manage my emotion despite having the stress. So again, all that role modeling really seriously made me a different person. I think being a
yes.
role model to my child, daily, not just based on financial status, was really you wouldn't like me before 35. I'm telling you, but after being a father, I think
There's a real adult man in the house, not just another kid your wife would look after.
yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely. I think that one is really. Yeah, I think my kids were definitely the main foundation of why I'm different today.
Okay, were there any serendipity that came your way, or anybody who like was an angel in disguise along this journey?
Yeah, actually, yes. I have two business partners. Who one is my old flame. Back was when I was 13 years old, and we kept in touch. Like for what, almost 40 years now. Yeah, we kept in touch all this while, and she saw that I am into psychology, and she always passionate into starting psychology business. So she was the first to search for me. And the second one was really is really Wan Sing. As you know, Wan Sing, she's young, 27, 28 now, but she's really passionate in education. And I think knowing and meeting these two person really helped drive everything fast forward. I think our 10 year, our business 10-year plan is driven fast forward now, because of the two of them. Especially also, I think one thing definitely very self-driven and passionate, and she's like all over the world, and she's like really going everywhere, drawing a lot of traction, investors, and stuff like that. Really passionate.
You want to give a little bit of context to AI talent? Maybe people
Well,
that
okay, like I said, as I read through a lot of HR stuff, and I do a lot of child therapy or family therapy, and I see a lot of, and I also teach, lecture a lot of career development stuff. I realized that there is a lot of opportunity for growth to help children develop better learning attitudes. And I think a lot of the issues has been in the academic system for not just here in our country, I think worldwide also. So I think there is room for improvement, and therefore there's a gap for opportunity for entrepreneur to solve problem. I think entrepreneurship is always to solve problem. So, and I'm not those that I will complain, and my children don't hear me complaining. I don't complain. I don't complain about country. I don't complain about education system. I don't complain about stuff. As a role model, I don't complain about mommy. I don't complain. So coming back, and therefore I looked at it from an entrepreneur's point of view. Then there's an opportunity because there's a lot of people complaining about it. So there's an opportunity. You just need to spend enough time to build a system to fix it. And therefore, I saw this opportunity that, okay, there is the education system. One of the issue was, and I'm not complaining, I'm just telling you a lot of the complaint. One issue is uh, out of 1,000 kids, the way they measure the talent of each kids is really just through one method, their academic excellence. So, and therefore, and there's always this bell curve, that there's some people understand it as 20-80 concept, right? The principle. So 20% of people will excel in this way. It's just like you are measuring, okay, climb a tree. The monkey will do well in climbing a tree, but you can't expect the elephant and the fish or to climb the tree well. So, but then, hey, but the system only measure those excellent in climbing tree, and even that the system has a limitation. The system cannot allow the elephant to be excellent in climbing tree, because if the fish also excellent in climbing, then the measurement doesn't work, because everybody scores an A. Can you imagine everybody graduate with an A and top of the class? Who's top? Everybody's the top. And no, it doesn't bring any value at all also. So the system, as much as it's flawed, but it's supposed to be designed like that to identify those who are good in climbing tree. And therefore, I need to design something or a system, or we need to solve this problem that the other 80% of the children needs to be measured or have a platform to be able to measure in different area. So, but I see also a lot of our predecessor solve it by a lot of very play-like, fun-like solution to, which doesn't correlate to their career directly, or their money making, or their financial independence directly. And therefore it's just quite obvious to connect children learning with their direct career or financial independence relation. Connect them now, so that the children get to do stuff now, problem-based learning, where they solve entrepreneurship or business-like shape issue today. And therefore, I think by combining this, the children get to learn about different type of industry, and at the same time, they get to use their creativity, which is proven children are way more creative, to solve the problems that the business world face also. And I think, and that's where we started in 2019. Again, this concept was 2014, and then I did a lot of pilot tests, being an academician myself. I think back in 2017, 2016 or 2017, we already done pilot testing and so to test out. We work with about 50 over students across the country to check and see whether these concepts work or not, and the response was really good. So despite it being a business related problem, but the children could solve it. They could solve it, and of course we need to scaffold it so that it's at a level that the kids can comprehend. um, and again, the whole concept end up, okay, it worked, and let's commercialize it. Back in 2019, we commercialized it, and the response was good, and therefore more and more companies sign up to collaborate, and more parents and children and education center kind of just combine, and this connection. So that's why we always say ourselves, we are just a platform. We connect, we are like Airbnb, we are like Grab. We just connect businesses and children to learn, and at the same time collaborate at the same time. So I hope I didn't go and explain too complicated, but but
um, to give a bit of context, my two children are doing the AI talent with Dr. Nicholas's company. So I got into this because one of my friend is a coach there, and it was like in 2020 ending or something like that. Um, so it's a very beautiful platform. What it allows for is it allows for companies or corporates to have uh, a way to be known and be kept in awareness, and on that's the side of the corporate, and the side of the students is, so what the corporate does is create a project to do with the kids. For example, my kids first project was ice cream making. So the company in Malaysia taught the standard operating procedures, taught how to make ice cream, how to market them, how to sell them, and everything. What it allows the kids naturally to do in the play of the process is like the kids get to play in the making of the ice cream and everything, but it hones the skills of the kids so that they understand to create something for other people. They got to earn it, and in that earning then they fulfill who they are for themselves. Yeah. And and in the process they naturally learn their earning of value. So they also learn marketing in the natural process of the things, to play the game to win. Yeah. So
Right.
that whole thing became a natural play for the kids. And that was their first project. And the second project they're doing now is shoe design and shoe making. And they're like, okay, my daughter is loving this. She loves designing. So she keep designing shoes and keep designing shoes. And then she explained why she's doing this and doing that. And if you look like an adult business person, right? They lost that play. If you look at a presentation in the meeting room, right? They don't have that passion. Wow, why I designed that and I love this and I like that. But you look at my daughter explaining all this, she's a better presenter in front of the boardroom than me. So the natural honing of the skills it comes naturally, it comes in the process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all this again, all these skills and the stuff that they're doing, or the way they're doing, is actually very directly correlated to their future career that is brought forward. Actually, they are actually doing what the entrepreneurs are supposed to do, or at least tap into their creativity, which the way they design that is wow. I think even adults couldn't keep up because they are just better at that. So we're just tapping to what they are already naturally, their resources of being creative, but yet we give them a platform to be able to showcase themselves. While they showcase themselves, we are also guiding them all the marketing, the entrepreneur, the presentation, and giving them that opportunity to really learn how to communicate more. If you want to call it public speaking, where in some sense we are giving them that platform to be able to do more public speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep, in some sense, yeah, again, it's much more complex. All those skills and stuff, team building and stuff, all those are inside there. But as I try to explain, we will use one angle. Otherwise, for most adult, if you keep it too simple, they say, "Oh, so simple." If you explain as complex as I do, then they'll like, "Oh, it's too complicated to understand." So that's why my partner with one thing, she's really good at explaining at a layperson's level. People will understand it. But for me, when I explain it, it will sound too complicating.
Yeah. So were there any setbacks along the way?
Well, to tell you the truth, not really. We were actually quite fortunate that this COVID situation actually excel, because the way I designed it was to have it face to face, that the children can learn face to face and then record. But because I believe in a lot of mobile businesses, doing businesses using mobile apps and systems and cloud based and all that stuff, so even when before 2019, before the COVID came, we were already we were advocating all the face-to-face teams to go online, to try and do it online, because there are some kids that will be sick at home, will be absent. I already saw all this coming, and therefore already advocated, let's do half and half online. But the whole system, the whole platform, the whole Google Cloud, even up to the filing system, even up to the labeling, I already saw and planned this way ahead already. Yeah? So what whatever filing system you're using now, whatever Google Cloud you're using now, is already planned way ahead that time. We're already advocating everybody to go online. And I think which when the COVID came, we were like really upfront, one of those really advocating, hey, we already have the solution that you can go online. So those who are existing face to face just had to convert to online system, and it felt like almost exactly the same for the kids. The results are the same, their production, their video reports are the same, the connection, in fact, the connectivity with the corporate using Zoom will become even more personalized rather than just giving you feedback via social media. Now with Zoom, even got them get to meet the CEO directly and ask questions directly. Before the trend came, it was more like just via writing and social media feedback. But then after that, it became even more personalized. So like I said, our 10-year plan is being accelerated. If you ask me, do we have any issues? Well, lack of competitors. I would say we are lack of competitors. I'm lucky. I'm happy to say. I'm happy to announce that Thailand has got one new competitor, which is good. I think even if a tuition center is great, you don't want to be the sole tuition center in the whole wide world. People are like, oh, so scary to go to tuition center. Once there's quite a number of other brands tuition center, oh, okay, tuition center is a common thing. So I think without competitor, I think that I'm looking forward to have more. I think it's good to have a bit more competitor so that the consumer's mindset will realize that, oh, this is something that's quite common, and being too unique can be quite a trouble to creating awareness or confidence. So therefore, I'm happy to announce we have one competitor in Thailand, and we're looking forward for more.
Yeah. Looking back at when COVID hit, and I got to know your company, right? It couldn't have come at a better time, because when the kids are staying home, the parents are looking for how to make them busy. so so yeah, and when that and many of the people I talk to, right, not just how to make them busy so that they can while away their time, but how to make them busy as in they get value and they become a better individual, like that.
Definitely, definitely. Again,
Yeah,
as educational psychology, I also really study about children, and it's proven that they really need to learn stuff that they feel is really relevant to the society. Also, like it's relevant today. It's not like let me learn for 11 years, then I sit for one exam. If then I prove my relevancy or importance to the world. They want something that's more immediate. I can see
more
that every two
more
weeks or
relevant. Yeah,
so, yeah, I'm relevant to this corporate, I'm relevant to the family, I'm relevant to society, I'm solving problem that's related to society. uh,
yeah.
yeah.
So when that happened, then because you have a platform for it, it's beautiful. Like for my case, my kids spend their time in a more valuable way, making ice creams, talking to their friends, marketing to their friends.
And we can cater to
Mhm.
the other 80%, the elephant, the fish.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we can cater to those now, because
It
different industry brings different
skill sets.
skill sets, or measurement of what they
Mhm.
feel is talent.
Yeah,
So not all just based on your academic. I think like the shoe one, we don't really ask for how many A's are you getting. See, but
yeah,
your shoe design and the way you're presenting, we didn't ask, what you get for your geography or your history. No, we don't need that. We need your talent in that area. And then the ice cream one brings a different kind of skill sets and talent, which, I think it's just
it's
uh,
beautiful.
providing for the rest of the 80%. Again, I'm not saying that those who excel in academic cannot do well in our platform, but we are looking to try and see how we can also help cater for the other 80%.
Yeah, to paint a picture for what doctor is saying is like when there was an ad scoop that had to be done for the ice cream, right? So my son came up with the idea of, hey, How about if before I eat the ice cream, I was playing football and I couldn't shoot the ball, I was lethargic. He came out, he said, okay, let's shoot this video. And then after I eat this ice cream, now I became a Superman.
Excellent. Yeah, those.
Yeah, it's really like fun watching him create himself and then think about it and then shoot the video. And my
And
daughter, like, she got provided a platform for like, okay, like she loves designing, right? And she loves talking about what she does, like in her music or her dance. So when she does the designing, then she comes in, you know why I do this? I do this because of this and this and this. It has a platform for her expression. Yeah, it's beautiful.
and if you go back to when, like 10 years ago, the time I was like 37 or so, I was reading and studying and planning all this trend. Peer-to-peer YouTube learning was already picking up, and it was already showing that it won't die off very fast. So, and kids learn really much faster from a peer-to-peer concept like that. As you can see how they break through, learn a lot of stuff from there. Yeah, of course there are kids who dwell a lot on playing games and doing nonsense stuff, but that's because the father is not there to set that role model, right? So but again, my kids play together. Whatever game they play, I play. Whatever cartoon they watch, I watch. Whatever sports I do, they do. So we do a lot of things together. So coming back to this peer-to-peer learning, the trend already said that there is this peer-to-peer learning opportunity, flipped learning style, which already Finland already started. But the world keeps saying, yeah, we should. But to change the system of, the whole education system takes a lot of money, a lot of funds, a lot of mindset, and it takes many years. It's too slow, and therefore, there's this opportunity to just jump in and give the children what they are naturally talented in. They are so creative, like your daughter and your son, different angles of creativity, and they just, once they identify that, whoa, it's really self-driven, and it will come out stuff that will even surprise the adult entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So looking on the same token, right, looking on the hindsight, would you have put something into place in the past or something you would have done differently if you now like look back and see and it would have created a bigger outcome now?
And again, I said, the outcome now is already bigger than I hoped for. Like I said, we especially, we only expect to get our different country. Thailand was the first buyer, and now we have got other countries like Indonesia, Japan, even Cambodia, and all are interested in investing. I think we expected it to be, the way I speculated or calculated was, when we started 2019, maybe around 2022 we'll expand to Thailand or Indonesia, but didn't realize that even at the December of 2020, we already expanded. So that was like really accelerated my 3-year plan to expand to another country. So it accelerated to 1.5 years. So therefore, uh, again, to answer your question, not really, because I'm really happy with how it's really expanding. It's like growing much faster, like accelerating 50%. In fact, so much so that I have to redraw quite a number of other plans. Which come back to time management. Doesn't have to rush everything, but if things situation given the opportunity, well, okay, then spend sufficient time to think and plan and strategize. So even now my business partner also already say, okay, Nick, why don't we sit on this for 48 hours and think about it some more? So instead of people a lot feel that entrepreneur always have to be rushing, make quick decisions, and so but actually the way we run it is quite opposite. We actually, okay, let's sit on it for a while. So in fact, every project we plan it 6 months ahead. So we take our time to plan very far ahead, and stuff like that. And so I think I would like to slow it down. So, but which we are being slow. No, I tend to slow it down a little bit so that we have more thinking in place, more data in place. but of course the economy and the demand and the expansion will pull us forward. So just that balance a little bit. So in some sense, in terms of external factor, no, I'm very happy with it. I wouldn't ask for anything different. Yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, not really. We are really
All right.
happy with the pace that we are growing.
Okay, so we have come to the ad school. So the ad school I want to share today is during the time of COVID, right? I run a tailor shop. It's a family business for 40 years. And instead of closing shop, because most of the most of the custom tailoring in Thailand is by tourists, and the tailor shop is catered towards tourists. Uh, Instead of that, and instead of just surviving, I took on mastering marketing, and those marketing resources that I used not only to survive through COVID, but to excel and to came out the other way thriving. Those marketing resources are in the link section in the description, so you can have a look at them. Some of them are free, and some of them are books and other online courses. So enjoy having a look at that. All right. Next is we hear rumors that serious investors are on the lookout to buy you up. What's that all about?
Well, again, we do get a lot of investors or venture capital, and that's how when you want to scale up, venture capital will come. But most venture capital will want equity, share and stuff like that, because we are not at the seed fund or angel fund level anymore. We are more like venture capital level. So people want to help us to scale, and therefore, yeah, we do have quite a number actually. But like I said, I read a lot and I strategize a lot, and I realize that venture capital is also very much like bank. When you need money, they don't give you money. When you don't need money, they'll give you money.
Yeah.
So we kind of re-strategize. So instead of getting committed with venture capital, we decided to just sell our license to different country managers or country owners, or more like a franchise licensing system. So which is where Thailand was one of our first, which we didn't have to give up our main equity, but actually build a different equity with a different investor in the other countries and stuff like that. So that system seems to be working well, and therefore now we're getting more and more, we'll call it buyers for different country, so they want to buy the license, sole license of to distribute the platform in their country. So again, yes, investors are
Do
there.
Doctor, do you want to talk? I don't know how this link would go and the YouTube would go. Do you want to talk more a little bit about that? So countries that they don't have this in their countries yet, they may then understand it a little bit more
Yeah,
and have
well, yeah, okay, sure. I will share a little bit, but that one thing, like I said, she's already all over the world trying to, already speaking to quite a few. We've already got quite a few in the pipeline, but I'll share a little bit. Again, I'm not very good in marketing sharing. I may get too academic and too much detail, but let me try and keep it short as much as possible. Well, yes, the way we work with, okay, our platform is online, but each country usually have some cultural preference, even like language, and also the corporate, like you said just now, we get Malaysian based company, or Singaporean based company, and even Indonesian based company. Now we also can we working with Thailand based company and even Japanese based company. So the company corporate sponsor is not limited to only certain country, but we work with different country, and they also can pull in the companies that's in that country. And because of the customization and adjustments to the language, and certain preference, so they get to distribute it to their country children given the context. So they can still run our platform parallel. We will have one that is based on English, and again I allow English and Mandarin so that we cover a wider world coverage. But if those in Thailand wants to present and have the whole context in Thai, then the local Thai partner or country manager will run a parallel system that is in the language and make the local. So then, therefore, there'll always be two corporates sponsoring, one sponsoring the more like international platform, one will sponsor the local country-based platform for the children to get opportunity and link to the CEO. So therefore, like Japan or Indonesia or anywhere, we are also talking to people who wants to customize it for their country independently, right? But at the same time, they are also licensed to carry our international based projects.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend who's the coach who brought this into Thailand, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
one of the like one of the setback for Thailand is not many people are proficient in English. So when she brought into Thailand, many parents wanted to do it,
yeah,
but they couldn't get it in to do it because the it's not like okay we speak in English a bit and then translate it into Thai because the whole thing was in English and in international standard English. So now she has set it up in a way that Thai could be spoken and a more culturally towards Thai culture. Coaches are being procured to handle the situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
and
and she brought
she's
it in December 2020, and now it's only 4 months, and she's already got a couple of corporate sponsors signed up,
yeah,
and again, her kid number and her coach's number all are growing, yeah,
very
independently,
quickly. Yeah,
yeah, very
and
quickly,
and also her passion for like she her prior business was taking kids to study abroad, and that's a big business in Thailand. And because of COVID, all of that got shut down. But her passion, her commitment for kids' future, right, got a new expression because of this. So, and now because it can also be done into Thailand, and she is very much a stand for kids having an expression, an independent way of thinking, and this platform provides the Thai kids for that.
yeah, and for investors or buyer from different country, it doesn't have to mean that you need to be from the education industry. You can be in the business world, but you do need to hire a management or someone who manage for you that has some knowledge on the education industry. That's it. But you can be just a entrepreneur from different industry, but you have the budget to expand this in your country. We will still talk to people who are not from the education background. Okay, just to clarify, does not have to be from the education, but we will recommend you to hire 1 or 2 person that is from there. That's all.
All right. So, anything you would like to share to other business owners who are dealing with the COVID situation? They may be in a dilemma. They may want to have power to be with the unusual and challenging circumstance. Would you like to share anything to them?
Sure, sure. Again, I can only share what I've overcome or what I planned ahead. I think we already planned. We the company started at 2018, and we the trend before that. Like I said, I read a lot of stuff. And it's already indicating a lot of work from anywhere concept, which is why the boost on the Wi-Fi and stuff like that. It's already showing that the work from anywhere trend will be coming. It's a matter of time, and that's why our entire team all work from home since 2018. I work from home 24/7 since 2018. And I love it. I have to say, I absolutely love it. And therefore, for other business owners, you really want to spend again time management. You want to manage your time to learn, and therefore, I spend a lot of time learning and reading. If you cannot read, by all means, I'm going to do a advertisement. Blinkist, at least get Blinkist that you get to listen to audiobooks, short 10-minute summary of it. At least subscribe to that. If you're a lazy reader, at least subscribe to Blinkist, which is what I subscribe back into or something also. But again, it was one of the best investment. You really catch up with your learning. So time management, and really you got to spend enough time learning a day. If you can spend 3 hours a day learning, you are actually going to have a brighter future rather than struggling today. So if you don't learn, you cannot really plan ahead also, because you are constantly right now struggling with your issue or day-to-day struggle. So really spend a lot of time learning, whether it's tech, whether it's stuff, it's really got a or business, or even in your industry or related to your industry. Don't go learn stuff that is unrelated also. Again, remember, you set your direction, you set your passion, whichever comes first, and then after that is a sunrise industry. you know but and you know that in 5 years, if you're going to pick it up now or change right now or pivot right now, you will be somewhat proficient, and therefore learn everything you need to. It's just like, if you need to learn programming, learn. If you need to learn cloud computing, learn. If you need to learn, so if you can do that and spend a lot of time learning every day, and I think all the successful people already keep telling you, read, learn every day. If you don't allocate that, you will get yourself stuck in another gut like this again. So,
Mm.
and I have to say, it wasn't because I was smart. It was just because I read a lot, a lot, a lot. I learned a lot, and the trend was just being so obvious everywhere. As you read a lot, you will see that the trend is coming. But if you just read 1%, then you can't see it. But if you read like hundreds, then you can see it's already blatantly telling you there already. And I'm not going to tell you what the trend is coming next now, but, but I want to encourage you to start reading. And therefore, to sum it up, I think if you learn and spend a lot of time learning, you would be able to pivot much faster, even things before it happens, or even when it happens, you already have coverage of a number of general awareness of it already, and it's much easier for you to switch or change, because the toolbox of your knowledge is already very much covered. So you just have to pick a couple of tools and mix and match it. It's very fast for you to pivot. But if you don't, only when it's forced onto you, like the COVID, then only you go and start to see what tools you have to pivot, then you are really going to be even more stressful, and your learning going to be even worse. So therefore, learn earlier, and you will know what is the best type of tools that's available for you when the next trend or issues come, if you don't plan ahead. But if you learn enough, you can even catch it and go, preempt it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you learn enough, you can preempt it. But even if you don't learn enough, when it happens, you have a couple more tools in your box to be able to patch things up much faster.
Yeah. So I can paint a picture of it. So learning is like, if you're a surfer, right? Learning is the surfboard. So if you have the surfboard and you play with it, you play with it, you play with it. When the waves come and smaller waves, then you can start like standing on the surfboard and cresting through it, right? And when the big waves come, then because you have the surfboard and you are now having some proficiency with the board, then when the big waves come, you don't fall under. You crest it. Yeah. And
And again,
that's one.
and learning about your again, the pattern of the wave, learning about the size, those kind of learning, you got to spend that time, not just
Yeah.
do, yeah, I'm surfing again. Just don't be mindless and just, good, I'm just surfing, or just sit by the beach and, when is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? Don't
Yeah.
just waste time on routine, but really think about everything about surfing. Think about everything that's surrounding you also, and think about wider, more macro, the wave, the how the and how the Earth's climate is causing the wave pattern also. So all those stuff that related to your surfing is more precision type of learning, but
Mm.
you're covering wider and wider and wider range. So when suddenly the place where you serve, the water die off, or COVID doesn't allow you to go surfing, at least you covered a wider range of information, how you patch them up to be a better surfboard tutor or whatever online. well, you at least have got a couple of tools prepared.
Yeah, it gives you the predictability of what's to come. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so learn, by all means, learn everything that's surrounding whatever you're doing. And again, if better, you are already kind of like spend enough time seeing what is the sunrise potential in the next 10 years or so. Plan that far ahead rather than just, ooh, what I want now and I wish I reached there, and you just force your way through despite the macro view of the social the economy or the the trend.
It would be funny to like start a horse trading business in the early 1900s when cars are coming out, right?
Yeah, yep, exactly. That's what I mean by sunset.
Yeah.
I'm passionate being a horse trainer. Yeah, but cars are coming out. So so you want to at least first thing. That's why I advise younger generation. The first thing you do is see. Okay, now maybe now you are 7 or now you're 10. Okay, for you to really excel. Oh no, okay, that's the wrong example because I believe 7 and 10 years old can actually make be very very lucrative to their own income today also. So if let's say you want to change your industry wherever you want to, so see ahead, okay, whether you want it to be 10 years or 15 years, and then see how many years you think you'll need to be able to have some proficiency, but make sure the direction. I think I just heard a saying lately that don't go and put in so much effort to climb the wrong mountain, something like that.
Yeah, acknowledge your commitment to have people create value for themselves in a relevant way. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of thinking, a lot of learning. You really manage your time, prioritize your time. So the way I share with my whole team also is, I only do 4 things a day. Two important, two urgent. If you are entrepreneur, you should be able to differentiate that important versus urgent, right? So I only do 2 urgent stuff a day, and I make sure I do 2 important stuff. One is definitely to plan and fulfill the long-term strategy type of thing. And the other one, I spend a lot of time 3 to 4 hours a day learning. Learning is one of my top priority in my daily routine. So I make sure I cover this. Of course, uh, don't neglect the most important thing is time with
Family.
your family, your health. The quality time with the people around you, especially now you're forced to, but for me, it wasn't forced to. I choose to. I enjoy taking care of my elderly father and my kids and stuff. The spending the quality time, the exercise, the sleep, get enough rest, and therefore don't forget your learning and then focus on your long-term goals. And then only address all the little stuff, like reply an email or answer a customer complaint or whichever you think that is urgent, right? So, but day to day, that's how you should spend it. That's how good time management. Therefore, spend a lot of time learning, please.
All right. How's the interview for you?
Well, again, it's I'm the expert in this area. I'm talking about myself, so it wasn't that difficult. So again, it's like an easy. I think we are just here to chat, and I think if someone can learn something from this and get inspired, I think we are here to inspire. We're not here to create any negative impact. We are here to create more positive impact and inspiration for people who stuck in the gut, looking for solution. But really, sometimes it's just you got to spend the time and reallocate your time. And I think we are just creating value for anybody who treasures it. That's it. And not everybody will enjoy this talk, but hey, I'm sure there is that, again, the bell curve. There's that 20% people who appreciates it, and that, again, like I said, the monkey climbing, and maybe we are catering to the horse. Again, I don't know, but there must be that 20% of people who appreciates this and find it useful, which is good enough for now. Good enough for now.
Anybody who would like to see being interviewed here who has an inspiration story to share?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I think again, like I said, I work with two very passionate, amazing women. I think Nong is definitely one of them, which I think she's got a lot of history and a lot of passion to be able to share, and the courage for her to jump into this, and how in this 4 months she's already independently working with sponsors and already planning ahead already. And also, if you like, again, it's not about the AI talent only, but I think this people, this two-person Nong and Wan Sing, they are really passionate people to work with, and they've got a lot of history themselves. And the way they have to, and it's not easy working with me also. And I think that they have to overcome a lot of stuff to be able to work with me also. And I think that therefore interviewing them would be also an inspiration for people, because I can't do this alone, and each of them have their own talent and their own skill set, and even their mindset. I think finding out how would help inspire the rest who have to work with different difficult partners also.
Yeah, let's explore that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. All right, we are coming towards the end. I thank you, Dr. Nicholas, for sharing so openly and um, giving the insights of like a pragmatic view of what it takes to really succeed, not just like a yay motivation, we are going to get there somehow and all that. Yeah, but a pragmatic approach to like it takes work, and it doesn't have to be that hard, but it's not that easy either, and it's and
Yeah,
there's
time, it really goes back to time, how you manage your time. It really, it doesn't have to be difficult if you are good with managing or highly aware about how you spend your time, you know. This is like the Vulcan sign, right? So, but
yeah.
I wasn't intentional for the Vulcan sign, but I just wanted to highlight the family and all the, and the important versus the urgent. But now that I realize it
You
is
know
Vulcan sign.
the thing that rich dad poor dad does, right, with the rectangle thing. Yeah, yeah. I think yours you can do like that.
Live
Yeah, the
long
three.
and prosper. Well, at least that's what some, y'all can take home, live long and prosper. But it's actually time management. So
Time management in three things: urgent, important, family.
yeah. Live long and prosper also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much, Raja,
All
and
right.
all the best to everybody.
All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.